Welcome back to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and Arizona has bounced back after suffering a 25-point loss on the road against Iowa State, number 14 Iowa State last week. The Wildcats came back home to Tucson, looking to clean things up, looking to get the offense rolling that scored only 14 points previously, looking to get the defense back on the right track after giving 39 points up against the Cyclones and over 243 yards passing with 6 explosive plays that totaled 183 yards. They recollected, they rallied, they played Oklahoma State, and they're able to go out there and thump the Cowboys 41-13. It was a complete effort from Arizona. They were able to do whatever they wanted offensively. Yes, the running game statistically didn't finish well, but when they ran the football, they were able to do so. The passing game, Noah Fafita threw for 376 yards against the Cowboys, scoring 28 of 39 on his passes, completing nearly 74% of his passes. 5 touchdowns, count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the 4th time a game offensively. They weren't able to get over 200 yards of total offense a second time this season that Arizona's done that. They did it against Kansas State at home, now against Oklahoma State. Very impressive performance all around for the Wildcats. Now, as we get into detail of this game, the one thing I really want to focus on is the wide receiver group. Throughout the first 4 games of the year, Arizona has dropped 11 balls this season. That's not a good number. That's a high number. You don't want to see that number. Iowa State, they dropped a handful. Kansas State, they dropped a handful. And that hurt Noah Fafita in his completion percentage. It hurt him in his yards, and it hurt the team because it took points off the board. Tonight against the Cowboys, Arizona, I think, maybe had 1 or 2 drop passes, but hauled in some tough catches. They're able to make big plays in the passing game when they needed to. And at the point of it all is an Arizonan, is a guy that transferred from Kansas State. His father played for the Arizona Diamondbacks in the Warner World Series. He played with Genesis Smith in high school, and that is Trey Spivey. Trey Spivey set the tone of this football game for the Wildcats. His first 2 catches were touchdown receptions, a 14-yard touchdown reception, then which he had to make moves on. It wasn't into the end zone. He had to find the end zone. He did a terrific job of that. And find the end zone and touchdown, but he took a quick slant and just hauled his butt down the field, got stopped at the 1-yard line. That resulted in a turnover from Noah Fafita, who fumbled the ball at the 1. But, man, Trey Spivey, just a phenomenal breakout game from a guy that has been doing it all spring, has been doing it all training camp. So a big game for Trey Spivey and a very encouraging game for the receiving. Had an incredible touchdown reception as well. I believe that one went for. He caught it midfield and just took it to the house, showed off the blazing speed. Terrific job by Luke Weisson. Let's focus on Noah Fafita. 28 of 38 passing. Great number. 5 touchdowns. Great number. But still, it kind of left you wanting more. He had the interception where there was a wide open receiver. I think it was Chris Hunter. I can't remember exactly. overthrew them into the hands of an Oklahoma State defender, and that's when they got short field because of a poor punt by the Cowboys. Arizona set up in Oklahoma State territory, and you turn the ball over. Then you have that Trey Spivey lawn reception. It puts you down at the 1, and you fumble the ball because you're holding it like a loaf of bread. You can't have that happen because these are areas where your defense has set you up properly, where your defense has won the battle, and these should be easy touchdowns or easy points on the board for you. And you can't cough up the ball. Luckily, you're playing Oklahoma State, who is in complete turmoil. They interim head coach, interim defense coordinator, players transferring, players redshirting. They're in complete distress. But when you play better teams, when you play the Iowa States of the world, when you play the Texas Techs of the world, they don't have Texas Tech. I'm just naming teams here. When you play BYU, ASU, they're going to capitalize on those mistakes. Those are going to come back and bite you in the butt. So, yes, it was a good game for Noah Fafita, but it wasn't a great game, even though he has 5 touchdown passes and completing 74% of his passes and nearly 400 yards. You're thinking, man, what an incredible game. It was good. It was very good, but it was a solid B that should have been an A. It should have been an A. And yes, you're going to make mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen, but you got to start cleaning these up because, yes, you're going to get away with them against the Oklahoma States of the world, but when you face tougher competition, it's going to be a rude awakening. And who knows if you have those opportunities again, you got to capitalize on the opportunities you have. So we need to see growth from Noah Fafita, even though statistically he had a tremendous game. And then I want to focus on field goal kicking. Let's be honest, special teams have not been special for Arizona. And Michael Salgado-Medina, they took him off the punting duty to kind of relieve stress there, have him focus on one thing. But, man, for that 40 to 49-yard range, that's been a house of horrors for Medina. He struggled. He missed a 46-yard field goal in this game. And he missed 2 against Kansas State, missed 1 against Iowa State. I mean, you're at 5 missed kicks already this season. I'm not even going to penalize him for the 60-yard field goal because, hell, it's 60 yards. Who's going to make that? It's rare. But, man, he was able to battle back. I'll give him that. Nailed a 57-yard field goal that was probably good for about 67. So that's great, but you need consistency. You need consistency, or you need to start looking at the freshman, Tyler Pashon. Mispronounced that name, I do apologize, but you need to start looking at him. Or Ian Wagner, the transfer from Northern Illinois. Yes, he is the placeholder, but he's got a big leg apparently. See what he can do. I don't know. I think it's something that you really got to look at this week coming up. I think Arizona needs to do some self-evaluating there because you need to get it right. Because you're going to be in a close game down the stretch. Rather it be BYU, Arizona State, or Cincinnati on the road, who looks like a juggernaut right now. Or, I don't know, Colorado. You need to hit these, or else you're going to be on the outside looking in a bowl game. And right now you're 4-1. You're set up perfectly for a bowl game. You probably have about an 85, 87% chance of making a bowl game. But we've seen Arizona as a program at 4-1 and what happened last time. 2019, they were 4-1. Guess what? They didn't win another game that year. That set up the 20-game losing streak. Is that going to happen? I don't think so. But my point is you never know. You need to take advantage of opportunities. So Arizona needs to get that field goal kicking right. Michael Salgado-Medina's got to get that down because it's going to come back to bite them in the butt in a future game down the road. And then lastly, I want to talk about the defense. What a bounce-back performance for Danny Gonzalez and his defensive staff and defensive unit. They had the interception. They had a forced fumble. I believe they had another forced fumble later in the game. Terrific job defensively for Arizona. Their secondary was very stingy, like usual. Again, it's a top 15 secondary in the country, in my opinion. It's the best secondary in the Big 12, and they're able to prove that today against an Oklahoma State team that is reeling. But, man, you went out there, you handled your business. Javion Cole having him back out on the field was huge for Arizona. He had an interception in the game. And then defensively, in terms of running the football, they're just a very stingy unit there too. I love what I saw from the defensive line. I love what I saw from the linebackers. You even saw Myron Robinson getting involved, a freshman who I think Arizona is very high on. I know Danny Gonzalez is very high on, and I'm high on personally too. That's been banged up. He was able to get a sack in the game. He's got great edge speed. So Arizona did a great job defensively. Overall, Arizona walks away with an impressive 41-13 win over the Cowboys, setting themselves up for a showdown in Tucson against BYU. BYU played Friday, so both teams took care of business this week. It's going to be 4-1 Arizona versus 5-0 BYU. Under the lights, 5 p.m. Tucson, Arizona on ESPN. Big-time game, big-time kickoff. And where else do you want to be rather than here in Arizona Stadium? We'll have more coverage of Arizona as it leads up to the BYU game on Arizona Wildcats on SI. Check us out on our Twitter account at Arizona Wildcats on SI, or follow me, Troy Hutchison, at THutch1995, and we'll see you next time.